Congratulations, silver and gold stackers. It looks like we are moving into a historic period of time. We are moving into a historic period of time. We have a ton of information to cover today. Let's get started right off the bat with the Comex. I could not believe this information that I learned about the Comex. We're going to start there, but like I said, we have a lot to cover in this video. This came from Bob the Bullionaire, who said sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. Unbelievable data from the Comex Silver 2025, a record-breaking year in motion. 2025 deliveries have already broken the all-time annual record with nearly 4 months still to go. That means that the silver, the electronic silver futures that's actually being delivered on the Comex has already broken an all-time record. And guys, we're only 2/3 of the way through the year. Every month, January through September of 2025, has delivered 1.5 times more silver than the same month did in 2024. Next, 2 of the all-time top 3 delivery months happened in 2025, March and May. Number 1 remains July of 2020, which was during the C-19 supply chain shock. The LBMA free float is tight. Comex is bracing for record delivery demands. So what we're hearing about the Comex and the LBMA are some very interesting developments. That relationship between them, the EFP, which stands for exchange for physical, that's the difference between the New York futures price and the LBMA spot price, is going crazy. Some people say there could be a short squeeze coming on, but I want to point out that according to the recent data that I've been able to find, the Comex actually has a pretty big inventory of silver right now. But could that be because they're expecting massive more deliveries? I don't know. What we do know is there is craziness unfolding right now in the precious metals markets, in particular with silver. And quickly we'll run out just to make sure nothing changed and see that on Friday.
Ron, you got a big super chat.
Oh, wow.
Look at it when you get a chance.
From Debbie. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Debbie, for that big super chat. Wow, $50. I will celebrate today here in the Brandstead house. Thank you very much, Debbie. The silver market traded on Friday almost 375 million paper ounces, maybe a little half, but nonetheless, guys, this paper market appears to be coming to an end. We know it has a lot to do with what's going on in the Eastern countries, China, India, Russia. The world is changing. The monetary system is changing. Let's go take a look at the price update, because that will be, I think, should be very fun for us to look at today. Let's refresh this. We're out at CNBC, and we're going to look at the gold and silver price. That's not it. Should be green when it comes up here. There we go. Wow, silver in the futures market, $41.05, up 85 cents per ounce. I know that the spot price had also breached through $40 per ounce. This is Monday. This is Labor Day in the U.S., but the metals markets are open and trading all around the world. Let's go back and take a quick look at gold. Guys, wow, this is very interesting developments here over the course of this year, but there's gold up almost $30 per ounce in the futures market, well above 3,500, trading right at 35.45. Can you believe we sat down here, basement dwellers? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it every time. We sat down here. We paid our dues, right? We were dreaming about getting the gold price above 2,500. Right? It feels like just 18 months ago it was a dream, and now we have the gold price above $3,500, and there is more to come. But let's talk about what's significant about what happened on Friday with the silver price, because we have confirmation of what we talked about potentially being the case, and this is very bullish as we move forward with silver. This came from Stevie AG. The silver breakout on a monthly chart is the real deal. So Friday was the month end for August. Guys, banksters have trained hedge funds, sell every breakout, but not this time. This chart can't be sold. The highest monthly close for the silver price ever. Every tech fund is going to buy this. Shorts are forced to cover. Explosive. But what we want to look at on this chart, right, is that now on a monthly basis, according to Stevie, according to our friend Stevie, we're going to draw this with yellow because we cannot do this too much, guys, right? Going back to 1980, all right, and that's a candlestick chart, all right? And this is a monthly close. As you can see, in 1980, we closed right there. We went all the way down, formed that massive cup. In 2011, we closed right there. Then we formed a big handle from 2011 through today. And on a monthly basis, as you can see right here, we broke above. This is the cup and handle pattern. This is the most reliable chart pattern in the history of the universe. And the longer the period of time that the cup and handle forms over, the more reliable and powerful the breakout will be. And we love cup and handles. We're going to have to get some cup and handle coffee mugs printed up, guys. What do you say? Now, one more thing, and I may have misspoke on this the other day, but there are some cup. I mean, you can kind of look here. Oh, hold on. Let's do this one more time. There's more in this chart. Okay, some people say there's more cup and handles within the chart, right? Which is what we're kind of breaking out of right now. But even also, so there's cup and handle within the cup and handle, but on top of that, and I believe it's right here, it's kind of hard to see, there's an inverse head and shoulders. So imagine like a guy standing on his head, with that being the baseline that we've broken out as well. Wherever we look at it, from a technical perspective, I think it's safe to say that we have never been, when we look at the charts, right, when we look at TA, and there's a lot more that goes into it than that, right, like the silver deficit, you can't cover all this stuff in one live stream. I apologize. But from a technical perspective, I think it's safe to say that silver is in better shape. I don't know if there's anything else out there in the world that's in better shape than silver right now. And we know that gold is also in very good shape. Hey, I want to take this opportunity, though, to mention to you, if you want to get your hands on some silver, right, please, that's the Las Vegas round from First Mint. First Mint is a sponsor of Ron's Basement Gold and Silver content. First Mint is owned by First Majestic Silver, the massive silver mining company headed up by Keith Neumeyer. So they mine the silver in Mexico, the freshest silver you can get, right? Just harvested right out of the ground. They ship the silver from Mexico to their mint, First Mint in Las Vegas, Nevada, where it's transformed into world-class silver bullion products. And then it goes straight to you. Remember that Comex operation we talked about at the beginning of this live stream? They don't touch it, right? The paper make-believe, right? Sparkly silver, the electronic, whatever you want to call it, they never get their hands on any of the silver that comes from First Mint. These are all unique products. Again, that's their Las Vegas round. They got other rounds. They've got the Year of the Dragon, Year of the Snake. They have a Buffalo round. They have bars. They have great prices. They have great selection. They have great service. It's a company you can trust, right? Headed up, owned by First Majestic Silver, Keith Neumeyer. You probably know that name if you've been in silver for a while. And there's a special discount code, VIPRB. All right, let's move on. All right, Stevie. Okay. Oh, are you? I didn't even tease you with this. And we got more to talk about. We got things going on, big major news stories, big events, big facts happening right now in the precious metals market that we're going to touch on as we go deeper into this live stream. There's a lot for us to cover. It's like too much happening at one time. But where do you rank? Do you ever wonder, like when you think about the rest of the world, like the amount of silver that you have, where you rank with other people in the world? This is super interesting. You're going to find out right now where you rank. This came from Traditional Money, okay? And it's a chart. Oh, and here we go. I got to share the right screen, which I did. Now you're looking at it. This is from Traditional Money. Silver, you need to own to be in the top percentages. So if we go down to the bottom, Okay, if you want to be in the top 10% of people in the world, you need to own 50 ounces of silver. If you want to be in the top 5% in the world, you need to own just 150 ounces of silver. If you want to be in the top 1%, right? You want to be the 1%er when it comes to silver, you need to own 500 ounces of silver. Where do you fit on this? And if you want to be in the top 0.1%, okay, 0.1%, which would be what? 1 in 1,000 people in the world, you need to own 5,000 ounces of silver, which, if my math is correct, at $40 per ounce silver would be about $200,000 worth of silver. But there's a big reason why I find this very interesting. If we go down here to the bottom, guys, look, if you want to be in the top 5% of people, you need to own 150 ounces of silver. What that tells me is that silver is not owned on a very dispersed level, like the easy for Ronnie to say, distributed level. That silver owners, right? If to be in the top 5%, you only have to own 150 ounces of silver. And maybe that sounds like a lot to you. So I didn't want to make that sound like only, because for some people that's a lot of silver, but still, that's not. What is that? What's 40 times 150? Oh boy, hold on. I'll do that. I should be able to do that in my head, but for some reason when I'm live, I cannot do math in my head. Hold on here. 40 times 150. That's not working. 40 times 150. That's $6,000 worth of silver. People don't own silver. That's the important takeaway in this. But, and we're going to talk about this more later, right? That's actually a good thing that works in our favor, that hardly anybody out there owns physical silver. We do. We live in an echo chamber, so we think everybody owns silver, but the reality is hardly anybody owns silver. So when these other people do start coming in, it will be like trying to drain Hoover Dam with a garden hose. The floodgates will open. I'm warning you, warning. There will not be silver at your local coin shop. Okay. I've been through it. I've been in this for decades. I've been to my big local coin shop here in St. Louis called Scotsman several times. You walk in, there's big glass cases full of silver. It probably is the case there even today, right now. But I've walked in there several times over the last 20 years when the cases were empty. And it wasn't just them, it was all the coin shops. The amount of silver available for the retail investing public, we think it's huge, but it's just a sliver of the overall silver market. So be prepared. I'm not telling you, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any financial decisions based on what I'm saying, but I can tell you as a fact, right? The supply of silver available to the retail public can be very, very, very sensitive. And with what's developing right now, I don't have a crystal ball, but do you believe that I can foresee here in the next couple of months us getting back into one of those environments where it's hard to get physical silver? Do you remember? Gosh, this is crazy how much it can change. Do you remember, what was it, just like 2 years ago, when if you wanted to get, do I have an American Silver Eagle? Well, anyway, make believe this is an American Silver Eagle, which it's not. But if you wanted to get your hands on an American Silver Eagle, the spot price of silver at the time was what, like $20 or $25, and people were paying $40 and $50 each. Okay, it can change, guys, and it can change very, very, very quickly. What about 300? We got so much more to talk about. Okay, but what about three?
When you get a chance, I have a question from the community.
Okay. Susie has a question. And thank you again, Debbie, for that super chat. Hold on here. I think I can pull it up. I want to recognize this. Super nice. Never super expected, but super, super nice. Okay. There it is. Okay. And Susie, everybody say hi to upstairs Susie. That's the wife. That's Silver Susie. She loves her silver. Susie, you said there's a question from the community over.
I guess I know you might be getting to it or you might not, but someone wanted to know if there was a rate cut in September from Jerome Powell, how would that affect gold and silver potentially? Over.
Thank you for the question, Susie. That's Very insightful, and I will address that immediately. Thank you. Over. Okay, I talked about this a couple days ago. Here's what I think is going to happen. And today it's happening. We'll see how it plays out. It's always buy the rumor, sell the news. Okay, meaning I think that we're going to move up and up and up. I actually have a note for myself a week from this Wednesday to look at maybe trimming some of the mining stocks that I own. I've never sold an ounce of silver or gold. It's too expensive. I love silver, right? I don't keep it here at the house, but I love my silver. I love seeing it. And in 20 years, I can look you in the eye and tell you I have only bought silver. Mining stocks are a different story. I can trim whatever if I think, to answer your question, right? Yes, I believe that on September 17th will be the day that we get the announcement from this guy. Huh? You guys want to see him? There he is. Jerome Powell in the Federal Reserve. That's when we'll get the next decision on monetary policy, interest rates. I think, here's what I think, that the price of gold and silver will go up and up and up, maybe until like Friday of next week. That would be a week from this Friday. And then that we could see a bit of a pullback after they start cutting rates. Things move. Silver and gold are some of the oldest. You may not realize this. Silver and gold are some of the oldest markets in the world. I used to say they're the oldest markets in the world, but then somebody sent me this long, mean email telling me the fish market is older. So besides the fish market, the market for gold and silver are the oldest. That means they're wiser. What comes with age? How old are you? I'm 55. I feel a lot wiser at 55 than I certainly did at 25. When you get older, you get age. So the gold and silver market look out into the future. They don't just look around the corner. They look around two corners. So it's not unreasonable. And I think a little more likely than not that maybe the day or two right before and then after, we might get a little pullback in gold and silver. But wait, because I got good news for you. That's not going to slow down the overall rally in the precious metals. I believe that silver in particular, where is he? Right there, $85 on the silver bear, that we're heading towards prices in silver within the next 12 to 18 months that we can't even imagine right now. So remember, nothing goes straight up, up, but down a little bit, up, down a little bit, up. And there's no guarantee that it will continue up, although I feel more convicted that it will with silver in particular and gold than I ever have in my life. Okay. Here, you want to hear about $300 silver? There's a guy out there who's publicly saying, let's see here. Thank you again, Debbie, for that super chat, that we are headed towards $300 silver. And it's very interesting why. So let's take a look at his post, but also his chart that makes a little bit of sense and maybe makes a lot of big $300 per ounce silver sense. This came from the great Martis. Silver, $300 minimum? Oh my gosh, this guy must be a silver pumper. A break above the ceiling in coming years will drive prices far beyond $300. And this is how he shows it. This is a long-term chart of silver going all the way back. I think that says 1902. Okay. And as you can see, he's drawn a trend line from here to the high that we hit in 1980. Okay. There's the 1980 $50. Here, just for reference, is the 2011 $50. And don't forget, that's a cup and handle, but I'm going to erase that. Hold on here. Cup, handle, boom. Okay, so we start out 1902. That was the high. We go to 1980. We hit $50. And what he's drawing is this trend line between those and projecting as we go into the next probably 5 or so years that we could easily get up to this level, which is going to put us at, could you imagine? Not $30 an ounce silver. That sounds like a good deal, just like within the last 2 or 3 years. No, we're going to add a zero, and we're going to make that $300 silver. Thank you, the great Martis, for that one. The other thing that caught my attention recently was a post from a guy named Marin Katusa, who I used to follow him really closely, and I didn't seem to hear much from him lately. But he put this out just the other day, which I thought was interesting to see him pop up. He said, buckle up. Silver just did something it hasn't done in 14 years. This monthly close is one for the generation. All right, we got a lot more to talk about. 3 more big things that we want to talk about when it comes to what is happening in the gold and silver markets. But I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you to channel sponsor First Mining Gold. They're a gold development stage company in Canada. I've owned the stock for years before they sponsored my channel. Okay, I always eat my own cooking, guys. All right, I also work with Ledger and MoonPay, right? Also companies that I use myself and work with. But back to First Mining Gold. First Mining Gold has 2 massive multi-million ounce gold development stage projects in Canada. I'm going to tell you why that's important here in a second. But they have the Spring Pole project in Ontario and Duparquet in Quebec. These are projects, the gold, it's already been drilled, it's been defined, there's millions of ounces of gold in the ground. But both of those projects are working through the development stage, the permitting phase, right? A catalyst-rich environment. But there's a reason why that's so important. The big mining companies over the last decade plus have been focused on cutting their debt down. They haven't, in a nutshell, right, because the metals prices were lower and they had a lot of debt they had to service and get rid of, they didn't invest in their future pipeline. They didn't go out and explore and develop a future pipeline to replace the ounces of gold that they're now feverishly pulling out of the ground. So there's a very limited number of big development stage projects. But wait, there's more, because there's even fewer in very favorable geographic locations like Canada. First Mining Gold has both of those big projects in Canada, 2 of the bigger development stage projects going right now. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com, or you can even reach out to probably the best investor relations person in the business, Paul Morris, Paul at firstmininggold.com. All right, back to silver. Interesting point came out to us this morning from Rafi Farber. Rafi has his in-game investor Substack. You can check it out here. This was in the free section. But the big news here is that silver, not only did it tag its 2011 highs, but Rafi pointed out it's also hit highs relative. I didn't hit 2011 highs. I apologize. The ratio of the silver to commodities ratio hit 2011 highs, and that's before the rate cuts start. That's just a silver. That's the gold chart. This is the one we're going to look at. This is silver to the CRB index, and the CRB stands for the Commodity Research Bureau. So this compares the price of silver to the price of commodities, okay, like oil, wheat, the hard assets. And as you can see, okay, we just tagged where we hit back in 2011. Interestingly, that's when silver on a nominal basis hit $50 per ounce. Now, you might be seeing this spike up here. That happened during the C-19 pandemic. That's probably the result. Remember when oil, the price of a barrel of oil actually temporarily went negative? Okay, so that's really an anomaly. When you're looking at long-term data, what happened during those couple months during C-19 really does need to be thrown out in most cases. So the fact that the silver to CRB index is up this high is another very, very bullish signal for the precious metals, in particular for silver. Here's some fun. See if I can get this to pull up. And here we go. This came from Make Gold Great Again. Did you bring a towel? That's the 2025 silver squeeze. And down here, well, let's pull up the whole thing. This is great. It's a tsunami. The 2025 silver squeeze compared to the Hunt Brothers silver squeeze down there below. Why can't you guys see that, I wonder? Hold on here. Hold on. You couldn't see that, could you? Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Hold on, guys. I'm back. I'm back. Don't leave. Don't leave. I'm going to pull that up again. Hold on 1 second. We're live and we're having technical problems, but let me go back here. Let's pull this up. Okay. This is what we want to be looking at. And there we go. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. Hello, hello. Maybe Susie, if she's watching, can let me know. I'm going to pull this up full screen. Here we go. Yep, there we are. Okay, 2025 silver squeeze, right? The math.
I see the Hunt Brothers silver squeeze.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, sweetheart. 2025 silver squeeze compared to the Hunt Brothers silver squeeze, which was the one that happened back in 1980. And we had one more I wanted to share with you. Hold on here, guys. There it is. All right. This came from Peter Spina, another one of the top analysts in the precious metal sector. Something we can't forget about when we're talking about specifically the silver price. The silver price over $40 an ounce and the gold to silver ratio is still at a laughable 86 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. Right, guys? Think about that. Think about that. If you're a silver, and I love gold, okay, but we are still in a situation here, okay? I use this as a paperweight. That's a tube of American Silver Eagles. There's 20 of them in here. Are you going to trade 4 of these plus another 4 tubes of American Silver Eagles plus another 5 ounces to get 1 ounce of gold? Some of you will, and that's great. Gold, I love gold, and gold's done awesome. But historically speaking, that ratio is closer to 50 to 1. I mean, what does that make? Hold on, I'll get the calculator out here. Right now we're at 86 to 1, 86 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. It's absolutely ridiculous. If we're at, let's say, $3,500 gold and we divide that by 50, that would be $70 silver today, just to get it back to that 50 to 1. 50. Would you trade 2 of these and a half of another one, 2 of these and 10 more American Silver Eagles to get 1 ounce of gold? I mean, maybe that's why I've always bought silver. Some people say I'm frugal, which is a nice way to say a tightwad, or I'm resourceful. I like to say
Don't sign off yet without talking to me. Over.
Okay, I won't. That's Susie chiming in. I need to talk to her one more time here before we go. So I think the biggest thing, though, the biggest advantage that we have right now, being silver investors and gold investors, and I'm going to tell you the reason why, is the number of the few people that are now invested in the metals. Still, I believe, if this is a 9-inning baseball game, we're in like maybe the 2nd inning. But the big advantage that we have, guys, and we'll make it real simple. Let's say 1% of the people in the United States are actively buying silver and gold. 1%. And that might be a little low, a little high, but it's probably pretty darn close. Actually, probably pretty conservative. Think about this. If that number goes from 1% to 2%, that doubles the number of people. If that number goes from 1% to 5%, that goes up 5x. If it goes from 1% to 10%, where 1 in 10 people are buying silver and buying gold and buying the mining stocks, right? That goes up 10 times. There's not enough metal out there. There's not enough mining stocks out there. Okay. It is absolutely a big advantage. I call it the law of small numbers, right? If we already had 10%, which we don't, but let's say we did have 10%. Well, think about your neighborhood. If 1 out of 10 people already bought silver, already bought gold, just to double, that would have to go to 20%. That's much harder to do than it is to go from 1% to 2%. But there's another reason why that's so important. Historically speaking, right? Usually, and there's all types of numbers on this, but the amount of financial assets that are invested in silver and gold, blah, 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 we are way low. We are way, way low over any time frame where we are right now. We are way low, but guess what? Guess what, Buttercup? We're also early. But the most exciting thing happening right now is that it is starting. The engine is started. If gold and silver were a Formula One race car, right? It's been sitting in the garage gathering dust for the last, decades. And you can certainly say since that little bump we had during the C-19 crisis, it's been sitting in the garage. Air had gone out of the tires. The engine oil had gotten goopy. But, right, what's happened here this year is that the mechanics came in. They changed the oil. They put on some new tires. And right now, they just fired up the engine. Okay, we are getting ready to roll. Let's check in with the real true boss of Ron's. Oh, I forgot. Guys, please subscribe to the channel. It's free. We don't charge anything. Okay, we love when you come join us. I respect that you choose to give us your time and hang out here in the basement. This channel, Ron's Basement, on YouTube is exclusively about silver and gold. I've been loving it for decades. I'd love if you came back. Please, and thank you for the super chats. Never expected, always appreciated. Thank you again, Debbie. But we got to check in with the boss. So let's check in with upstairs Susie right now. Hello, Susie. Are you there? Silver Susie, upstairs Susie. Over.
Yes, I want you got 173 likes. One more, it keeps growing. So I think you should bring maybe the cowbell or the gong. And then I think you should say hi to some people.
Okay.
On the chat.
Okay, that would be great. All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I don't know where the cowbell went. Hold on a second. I used to have a cowbell down here. Oh, I found it. All right. So, when we get to 200 likes, right? That came from Joe F. He delivered that here to the house. When Susie lets me know we got to 200 likes, I will ring the cowbell. Hold your ears. It's very loud. Okay. We don't do it every time. But I'll warn you if you're listening with headphones on and live. There we go. Okay. Hello, Susie's house. Hello, Shaquille. Hello, Jonathan Nunez. Hello. You know what, guys? We need more cowbell. So when we get to 200 likes, yes, Susie will let me know. Can you see it? There it is. And I will ring the cowbell. But what I want you to do right now in the comments so we all can know.
That's where they are from, too.
Yes. Thank you, Susie. I was just going to do that. In the comment, tell me where you're from. I'll try to read your name, okay, because we are everywhere. Silver is decentralized. It's all over the world. All right, guys, come on, shoot. Let's see where you're from. Hello, Justin. Hello, Eric. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Johnny. Wisconsin, Jake Revelaski, Mark Petty, ODBG, whoop, whoop, Old Dirty Bastard Garage. If I miss you, put it in again. Mariners Rich, thank you for subscribing. Riverside, California, Scott. Netherlands, I love the Netherlands. Hello, Lynn Lowe, Cactus Slack, good to see you. Debbie, Adam Romero from New Mexico. Timothy Morrison, Alton, right across the river from me. Hi, buddy. I can't read them all. They're going so fast. Hold on here. Let me go up, see if I can. All right, here we go. Howdy from Texas, Thermal Cowboy. Jonathan Nunez from Miami. How do I get this darn thing? Hold on. See if I can get this. Oh, shoot. All right, hold on, guys. St. Paul, Minnesota. Man, you guys are everywhere. Fullerton, California. Anthony Neal, SoCal. Richard Albert from Phoenix, Omaha. Oh, my gosh. Adam from New Mexico. Wow. I mean, you guys, this is incredible. New York, Dennis Lee. Toronto, I love China. I've been to Toronto a few times. Hong Kong, hello, Kaniki Chow. Brian Welsh from Northern Michigan. Johnny Wad, Sweden. Hey, Susie's Swedish. Christopher Erickson, nice to see you. New Hampshire, Ben Gad. All right, guys, thank you for being here. If I didn't read your name, send me an email. I'll read it next time. You are important. You are the most important part of... I forgot to ring the cowbell? Man, I'm losing it. All right, guys, we did get 200 thumbs up. Let's ring the cowbell. It's been months since we did that. We are in for a wild ride. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for being here. Okay. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.